This video is going to be a really quick video going over what are the 5 fastest TTK close range weapons inside Warzone after the Season 3 update. We're going to fire through this very quickly, so let's get straight into it. So what we have here is our TTK spreadsheet, and this includes every viable close range gun in the game. Now, we're not including assault rifles in here, and some of them would actually make the mix for a good close range weapon. We want to make sure we're factoring in obviously movement speeds and things like that. So we're mainly looking at pistols and SMGs for this, and obviously we don't like shotguns, so we're not going to factor those in. But when it comes to some of the outlier ones we want to quickly mention is the Akimbo WSP Stinger, which actually got a buff with this recent update. So I do want to factor this one in, and also the Jack Grenade, which kind of didn't really get talked about too much, and I do want to point this one out a little bit as well. But other than that, we do have every other SMG here other than the LACHMANN Shroud, but that's because it's a burst fire SMG, and I'm not really a massive fan of SMGs being burst fire. Now, when it comes to the TTKs, we're only focusing on the first 2 damage ranges here because this is the only 2 that are important. We're mainly using these for close range engagement. So let's take a look at the fastest TTK guns now. So organizing these in terms of fastest TTK, we've got the Akimbo WSP Stinger, and that's why I wanted to add this onto the list, because it is the fastest killing close range gun in the game by about 10 milliseconds. Shortly after, we've got the Jack Grenade, so that is also a really solid choice, as you can see. Now, these do drop off very quickly along with the next gun, which is also the WSP Swarm, so this is kind of back in the meta mix. Now, if you're talking about below 8 meters, then those 3 guns are definitely going to be your best choice. Now, as soon as you hit a little bit past that, you're pretty much looking at very slow TTKs. Now, the Stinger obviously isn't really going to be viable anyway because it's an Akimbo, but the other 2 definitely drop off, as you can see. Then we've got the HRM9, which is still going to be probably the meta choice because overall it's still the most well-rounded option. So it's got the good TTK, you're going to land your shots because the Swarm does have a bit more recoil. And then also, you are able to buy this from the buy station, unlike the pistols, unfortunately. And then we do have the Striker 9 as well. The MX9 is shortly after that. This actually got a bit of a buff. And then the rest of the guns, as you can see, the Ram 9 is still kind of in the relative meta mix. You can still use it if you do like it. So flying through some builds now, we don't want to spend too much time on this because you can find builds everywhere right now. But these are the ones I like, so this is the way I like to build each one of these weapons. So we've got the HRM here, Colossus Suppressor, Hand Stop Underbarrel, 50 round drum mags, Kimura Laser Light, and the Hatchet Light stock. Now, the reason why I'm using the Hatchet Light stock is just because I do prefer to have a bit of movement. The laser, because they did nerf the sprint to fire for this gun with the recent update, so that's why I'm using that there. Now, you can use some other attachments or the barrels to give you that kind of better iron sight, but that's personal preference. For the Jack Grenade, this is the build that you want to be using. Now, you can swap out the suppressor for something else, maybe a laser, maybe an optic, because the iron sights are not very good on this gun at all. But this is the Jack Grenade, so you've got the Colossus Suppressor, the Kimura Cepharic Vertical Grip, which is this grip right here, is the only one that helps with aim walking speed, which is the strafing speed I'm looking for, 50 round drum mags, and the Calypso Grip. Now, like I said, the only attachment that I feel like you can remove from this is the Colossus Suppressor and put on an optic if that's your preference. Moving back into the WSP Swarm, which is a gun we've not used in a while, so we're using the Jack BFB Muzzle. You could choose a suppressor. The Colossus is a really good choice as well. Brune Heavy Support Underbarrel Grip. Kimura Laser. This is, again, you could swap this out for an optic if you prefer. 50 round mags. The 100 rounds way too much and it slows you down. And I like the WSP Factory Stock for that aim walking speed once again. Moving on into the WSP Stinger and Akimbo. Obviously, we need the Akimbo attachment. The largest mags available. The 1 milliwatt laser, which helps with the hip fire accuracy the best. So that's why we have that on there. Then we do have the light barrel, which is the only barrel that allows you to have a muzzle on there, besides the base one as well. But you might as well get the extra bullet velocity and damage range out of it, obviously, because we are using it in Akimbo. And then we are using the Colossus Suppressor. Once again, you can use a compensator if you rather use that instead. You don't really need to be suppressed with this gun because you are pretty much using it at point blank range anyway. And last but not least, another well-rounded option, probably not the most popular, but definitely a good choice, is the Striker 9. And the Striker 9 in this specific build is a movement build that I like to use. So we're using the stubby barrel, and this is going to help with movement. So as you can see, it helps sprint to fire, aim down sight, and aim walking speed, which is that strafe speed. Jack BFB, or you could use another compensator, or you can use the colossal suppressor once again, or you can use the new suppressor. Probably not the best option, but still a good option nonetheless. Brune heavy support grip once again, 650 drum mags, which is what's available, largest available, and then the factory striker stock, which is going to help with that aim walking speed once again. So these are the 5 fastest TTK guns after the Season 3 update. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much for watching.